Yep. Hi, welcome back. And we're going to go back to the Lam Rim. We're at Natsar Kin. Okay, Natsar Kin. Okay, I'll just keep going. Natsar Kin Yen So Papa Sapte. What he says here is listen, uh, don't remember the next day to turn a problem into an opportunity. Okay, what's that mean? Do it in the instant of the problem, and that's a special skill. Okay, it's very common to have a disaster, get upset, spend a whole night worrying about it, not sleeping, and then the next day you remember Lamrim. Okay, don't do it that way. Try to turn on the Lamrim understanding immediately, because that's when it's really helpful. That's like pulling out a fire extinguisher the next day, and it's too late. Usually it's too late. Okay, so you have to get these instincts. You have to have these automatic reactions that when a problem comes, you're like, oh, look, a new puppy to snuggle up to. Okay, we were saying that problems are like new puppies. And instead of kicking them or trying to push them out of the house, like get out on the floor and let them lick you, and get to know these puppies. Puppy means the latest problem with your friends or something. So learn to react immediately and don't react, 2 days later, remember your Dharma. Dharma has to be applied immediately. Okay. If you can apply Dharma in the middle of a problem, that's extremely powerful. Okay. So I encourage you got to think fast. You got to keep your head and you got to not get off balance. Okay. In the middle of a disaster, you have to remember Lamrim. Okay. And that's when it's really helpful. Okay. Only in the middle of a disaster can you truly turn the problem into an opportunity. Okay. If you wait 2 days, it's usually too late and you lose the energy of the problem. So just as a person, I think I'm good at it. When I have a problem, I try to turn it into an opportunity. And personal advice: do it fast. Don't wait. Okay, don't wait 2 days and then try to recover what you can. Okay, like immediately. Especially personal problems with other people. The minute a person causes you trouble, then jump on it and use it as an opportunity. Find some way to turn a problem into a success. Okay, and don't wait 2 days, because you also won't get any sleep for 2 nights. Because you'll be worrying about it. Like if you have a problem with somebody, jump on it today, and do something. Use the energy for something positive, and your life will be a miracle. My life is just fun. My whole day is fun. I have fun whole day. And at night I have fun, So, and I sleep really well. I sleep too well. I'm so glad I don't have to sit in a class. And I get to talk during the whole class. So, all right. Next picture. I was on the airplane from Japan. When I eat, I let myself watch movies or TV, because I can't translate while I'm eating. And I take like 10 minutes and I was trying to find a movie that was appropriate, and wouldn't mess up my mind. And there was a documentary about he's called Motocross guy. He was like the world champion of racing across the desert on a motorcycle, and they have the footage of him falling, and he fell and he broke his spine. He broke his spinal cord, and and there's no cure for it. You can't do anything. If you break your spinal cord, your legs will never work. And he broke his spinal cord. And then there was this, they took a camera in the helicopter when they flew him out, and they took a camera in the hospital, and they filmed him for like a year with his girlfriend. So here's this beautiful girlfriend who's married, who's girlfriend of the world's best motocross rider. And then suddenly she has to help him pee pee and poo poo and walk. And she has to put him in bed. She has to get him into his wheelchair. And what struck me was how quickly he adjusted his mind. And I think that showed he was a real champion, because he didn't freak out, and he didn't get depressed, and he didn't get angry. And he was like, okay, what do we do now? Like how do we develop? He developed his arms, and he learned how to use 2 canes. But the thing that struck me was he so easily gave up his pride. He so easily surrendered his pride, and he was a very famous person. The girls were all chasing him. Now all the girls are running away because they don't want to clean up his poo-poo. And his pride dissolved, and he did it so gracefully. And if you have a chance, you should see it. They interview all these people who broke their spine and how they dealt with it. And so here's Chunju. What's Chunju? Bodhisattva Jaya Avatara. Okay, guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. And here's advice from Shantideva. Shenya dunya yenten ni. Problems do have one good thing about them. Okay, yenten means in Sanskrit guna, good quality. He says, when your life messes up, there is a guna, something good about it. What? It smashes your pride. Okay, it smashes your pride. Like he became a very gentle, modest person. And this whole thing of being the world's best motorcycle rider, he gave it up. But it took a spine break. It took his spinal cord to be broken, and it just removed his pride. And I think I had this experience in the diamond business. I was, and I tell the story a lot, but there's a family called the Mehta family from Gujarat. They moved to Belgium. They were knighted by the King of Belgium because they doubled the economy of Belgium with their diamond company. And they built a huge children's hospital in Mumbai. And I used to work in their office. I used to buy diamonds in their office. And I went to the toilet one day. They have a gold toilet. It's made of gold. The whole toilet's made of gold, and there's wings on it. Why? People like to squat in India. They like to squat when they poo-poo and pee-pee. So it's a dual-purpose gold toilet. You can sit on it, or you can climb up on it and do your thing. And the whole thing is gold. The sink is gold. The thing is gold. And then downstairs, he has a car collection, antique car collection. So he's got 2 parking levels. He built a parking garage in the basement of his office to hold his antique car collection. And then he invited me to go he said, you want to go to my son's wedding? I'm like, okay. And they rented Mumbai soccer stadium, 60,000 seats. They turned it into a Gujarati tent with 60,000 participants, and they held the wedding in the stadium with 60,000 guests. And on the way to the stadium, I was in the car, and they took a basket of diamonds, and they threw diamonds out the window. The whole way from the office to the stadium, they were pretty popular. And we go through the slums of Mumbai and they're throwing diamonds out the window, And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Then about a year later, he had a stroke. The father of the family had a stroke. He was young, he was like 50, and he had a bad stroke. And the next day, he has to be carried to the office. His limo driver gets out and carries him into the office. And they made a special chair for him, and he couldn't speak and he couldn't write. And in India, you respect your parents, you take care of your parents. So his children made him this big desk and this big chair. And they just put him there in the morning, and he sat there till the afternoon, and then they took him home. And just to honor him, to let him feel like he's still part of the business, or he's still part of the family. And then I was like, yesterday he was, arranging millions of dollars of stones for me to look at. The next day, he can't talk and he can't walk. And it was a big lesson for me. I was very it woke me up. And then I said, we're all gonna be like that. Every one of us will go there. Sooner or later, you will, if your kids are nice, they will put you in the chair when you can't move anymore. And it will happen to everybody in this room. Sooner or later, we will be in the chair and the kids will be feeding us. I fed my mom last week. Couple of weeks ago, she was my stockbroker. She took $10,000 and made $100,000. And now she had a stroke, and I'm feeding her. She can't pick up the food. I have to feed her, and she can't remember anything. And we will be there. You will go there. So the good thing about this kind of a life is you might as well give up your pride now, okay? Because if you hold onto it, you are just more ridiculous later. Okay, so you might as well give up this, thing about looking good or trying to impress people or trying to be the smartest person in the room or the most beautiful person in the room. You might as well drop it now because you're headed there. And it's going to be a lot easier when you get there. And, Tim has to feed all of us. I was feeding her pizza, and I wrote an essay for my family. I said, take her out in the wheelchair for pizza. And everyone's like, well, thanks for thinking about it. And I'm like, don't heat the pizza up too much. And they're like, why? And I said, the cheese comes out in strings and it flops down on her blouse, and let it cool down until it won't, the cheese won't stretch. And that's her life, like we all writing these emails to each other. Make sure the cheese is cool before you put the pizza in her mouth, because otherwise it flops down on her, and she's not even aware of it, And you will be there. We will be there. So be goofy now, have fun now. What's the point of trying to be fancy or trying to be wealthy or trying to be the most intelligent or beautiful person in the room? It's hopeless. Okay, you're headed for pizza, somebody feeding you pizza, and you're headed there anyway. So why not let it go now? Just let it go now and have fun, be yourself, be goofy, okay? Right? Okay. Go ahead, Jegba Sowache. Give up your Jegba means what do you call that? More than pride, arrogance. Drop the arrogance now, because you're gonna be a fool later anyway. Okay. Korwa la ningje ke. Korwa pa. So korwa means what? Korwa. Sansara. What's a korwa pa? It's a sansaraist. Okay, we are all samsara-ists. We are all samsara specialists. You know, he says korwapa. Nyingje means learn to sympathize with what's his name? The great French writer. Not Rousseau. The other guy. Huh? What's his name? Anyway, he said, fellow sufferers for a day. Fellow sufferers for a day. We are fellow sufferers for a day. Your whole life, we are fellow sufferers for a day. Korwa pala ninja means, you know, give other people some sympathy, no matter how arrogant and insulting they are. They're all headed for the pizza thing. We're all headed for the pizza thing. So just let it go. Someone's irritating to you, someone's arrogant to you, someone hurts you. Let it go before you are fully offended. That's the idea. As you start to get offended, let it go before you get before the anger comes up complete, break it before it's complete, okay? That's a Lamrim practitioner. That's how fast your reactions have to be in the Lamrim. Before you get completely pissed off, you're already thinking about their suffering. So within 2 minutes, you can switch the situation, okay? That's a Lamrim practitioner. That's why it takes 20 years to teach the Lamrim. Okay, Dikla Zemshin Gelaga. Try to avoid mistakes in how you react. Gelaga means enjoy catching yourself halfway through pissed off. Okay, enjoy catching, make it an art form to catch yourself before you have time to get fully angry. You know, remember the guy with the gold toilet. You know, before you even have time to get properly angry. And by the way, there's this weird feeling of being interrupted in the middle of a movie. You're like, do I have to be nice? Can't I just be irritated another 10 minutes? And then your Lamrim mind is like, no, give it up now. You know, yeah, but I didn't really fully hate the person yet. You know, you're gonna have to give it up sooner or later anyway. You might as well do it before you get that. Okay. Next picture, Daniel. Credit card problems. Okay. And if we had, I'm sure Tim is going to arrange item review time with all the participants. Who's she? Yeah, Ale. Ale. Okay. All right. Credit card troubles. Here's the next verse, okay? And it's from the Lojong Dunduma. It's from the 7-point Bodhicitta training text, Lojong. You and me, if we have a good day, we think things are going well. But if you're a Lam Rim person, if you have a bad day, things are going well. Okay. He says, Kina miga dugna ga. A real Lam Rim person, if they have a good day, they should get upset. And dugna ga, if they have a really crappy day, they should celebrate. Now, $300 bet. You're just like, there's 2 ways in which this relates to a credit card, and I'm waiting. And I'll repeat it. When things mess up, when things go well, you should regret. And when things mess up, you should celebrate. And it relates to a credit card. Daniel, I want 2, it's 150 each, okay? It's 2 aspects. You tell me what Lo Jong's gonna say in the next two lines.
I think when things go well, it's you're using up your credit card. And then when you have a problem, you're actually getting rid of some debt from your credit card.
Yay. Okay, so don't forget to collect your $200 from. I'm just seeing how fast you can turn that into. Yeah, 300. He's like, okay, next two lines. Kinang gun sucks, then I'm saying. Kinang gun sucks, then I'm saying. Kinang means when things are going, when you're having a good day. Ngun sak means previously collected karma. Sanam means good karma. Say means you use it up. Your credit card is used up. Dupna, when you mess up, when you have a bad day, the dig dip means the bad deeds and obstacles, which would take you to the Ngensong, the lower realms. Jang, you purify them. You should be happy when you have a bad day. You are cleaning your credit card, right? And when you have a good day, you're just using up your credit card. Okay? I don't know. This Lamrim logic is difficult. Okay. I went and found you the quotation. He didn't tell you where it was from. And I bowed down to John Brady and your project. And I couldn't do anything without your project. So I'm extremely grateful. And I spent all day swimming in your database. And I'm really grateful for it. And it will change the world eventually. Okay. By the way, that Lojong is quoted by Trijang Rinpoche and by Pabok Rinpoche, and nobody else ever quotes it. And he didn't say who gave those lines. They don't say who gave those lines, who spoke those lines. They don't say the credit card lines. Okay. And I went on a long trip to John Brady's database. And there was a guy named Jason who worked for you, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, a nice young man. And he was a nerd. And there's a weird thing. All these monasteries around the world are inputting data and printing books, and they throw the data away. They input the book so they can print it, and then they throw away the data. You know, so he was like going around begging people for their data before they threw it away. And he went to a Nyingma group, which is the ancient, Nyingma means the ancient Buddhists of Tibet, which is a different group than your lineage. It's a different tradition. And he begged them for their data, and they gave it to him. And it's in there. And the reason these Gelugpa guys don't credit it is it's the Nyingma. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to give credit properly to Ogyen Jigme Chuki Wangbo, 1808-1887. He was a Dzogchen master and a Nyingma, and partly Rinme. So they never mentioned who the credit card lines are from. And I don't think anyone ever found it before. So thank you, John Brady. Yep. All right. She Sungpe. Kosa Tabutona. We got to go down a little bit, Rebecca, out of the bold. There's the quotation, by the way. Yeah. By the way, the name of the book, his book is The Dance in the Lotus Garden, which sings in harmony with the teachings of the gods. Pretty good title. All right. She Sungbe Kosa Tabu Tona Rang Chipu Sangchen to Chupa Dandawar Kang Dosa Me Lachen Punop Sotabute Kosa Tabu Tona Rang Chipu Sangchen. He has a long section here about the dangers of life going well for too long, you know. And he says, "Kosa" means, we mentioned it before, when you get a position, or you're doing pretty well in life and you're moving up in the company structure or something, there's a tendency to slack off on your dharma. There's this inherent belief that it's going to last forever. When things are when you're being really successful in a company, for example, and you have a position, there's a natural tendency to think it's going to last. And then that hurts your Dhamma in practice, okay? Because it doesn't last. I'm going to keep going. That's as far as I checked, but so I'm swimming from here. You ready? Jupcho losan namgyal ki kyang. Hona sang chen tu gyurwar sungbatang. He said, sun means a prison. And he says, when things are going well, it's what do you call it? Gilded cage. It's a nice prison. Sang, like lopsang. It means a good prison, sweet prison. When things are going well. Sungbadang. Mansa Gyawek Den Sayin. And somebody else said, the lowest seat in the room is the Buddha's seat. Okay. The lowest position in the room is the Buddha's position. Okay. John, who takes care of the toilets and anonymously builds benches around Diamond Mountain. I heard this morning that nobody knows where they all are except John. But you'd be wandering through the desert and suddenly there's this bench made from discarded wood. He won't throw it out. He makes a bench out of it under a tree. And he truly prefers to be anonymous. I've never had a conversation with him. He's been here 12 years or something. And he prefers not to talk about what he's doing. And he says here, the person who takes that most modest position of cleaning the toilets is the one who's sitting in the Buddhist position. Those who seek the lowest positions go to the highest positions of the Buddha. Shekshin, Drom Rinpoche Kyang. Drom is the student of Atisha. Atisha brought Buddhism to Tibet. Atisha went to Indonesia to learn his stuff, Tonglen. And then he had a student in Tibet. And that student is special. He a very high Lama and a businessman. He never became a monk. He was a very high Lama. He helped start Buddhism in Tibet. I always think of John Stilwell like that. The person who helped start ACI, but he never became a monk. And he was just a businessman. Okay. And he was a great Lama in the Kadampas. Okay. Shang Tang Ka Per Chung La Chak Tsawar Zepa Shin. Then he would, going down the road, he would come across a beggar that he knew to be particularly virtuous. And he'd always stop and do prostrations in the dirt in front of this beggar because he knew the beggar had a good heart. And so this high Lama would do prostrations in the dirt to this person. Rang Reyang Mensa Sungne Oktudoa Chule Mepa Chema. Doktang Yang Tumba Junche. Dona Miga Menaga. Mena Rankyun Tela. Dona Miga Menaga. We should rather, if someone praises us, Miga, we should be unhappy. And Mena Ga, if someone criticizes us, we should be happy. Mena Rankin Tela, because when someone criticizes you, there's always some truth to it. Okay, somewhere in there, there's some truth to it. Even when people attack you and criticize you, and you're innocent, but normally there's some grain of truth there. Okay, when someone says bad things about you, oftentimes, I'd say almost always, there's some kind of truth there somewhere. Okay, it's not as bad as they said, but it's there. Something's there, or you wouldn't be criticized. Shang Tanka so ote doa chule mepa cheno mensa sungne oktu doa chule mepa. When the water reaches the lowest basin of the valley, there's one good thing: you can't go lower. Okay, so if you just take the lowest position in any place, you're never going to be disappointed. You're already low. Okay, dog dang yang tumba jung che tunaga chepa tar shengi tupa tura tang na ngagyo je chergyur. The problem with being praised by other people is it tends to kindle pride in you. When people praise you, you tend to get pride. It's probably better if they don't notice you. Okay. Tena tangna ngagya je chegyurshin. He di chini ka pung rangi ken min tongla mela nekap minyan yang. When people criticize you, nekap minyan means it doesn't feel good at the moment, but chine rangi le de la takne. Later on, after people have criticized you, then the next day or the next week or the next 10 years when you can't forget what they said, nekap minyan shine rangile de la tak. This tak, BRTAGS, 2 lines below the 324. Takne means you will tend to examine your behavior. Okay, if someone criticizes you, even if it's not true, you will check your behavior to see if it is true, and that will help you. Okay, so the natural tendency when someone criticizes you is to say, I didn't do that. But you can only say, I didn't do that if you check what you're doing. So in any case, they've helped you look at yourself. Tak, nekap minyan tak ne dorlen sabak chepang. You will be more careful after that. If someone accuses you of financial misdealings and you're not guilty, but still you'll be more careful in the future of the same thing. Chepa dang din jungla mi ka sai pam pam yin she sai ngudu double yimba sum. The practice of dealing with criticism successfully is the practice of the gods. Okay, the practice of using criticism to improve yourself, even when it's false, is extremely helpful. Then meka dawa so kengenru jimbekap de dita sam. Okay, the point is, in the middle of difficult situations, you have to pull it out. You have to pull out your lamrim. It's almost useless to think of it 2 days later. Okay, use it immediately. Okay. So, rang deshin kiba chungna, yewi dubu chung nyamdu sapa chanchuki sem gombala toshu kepa sok jasung. Even when things are going well, okay, he says, look, I'm trying to teach you how to respond to criticism. But I also want you to be mindful when things are going well and be thankful that you know about doing good deeds. Okay? So it's not just that you have to wait to be criticized to make progress. You know, when people are not criticizing you and people are thanking you or praising you, you can also learn to enjoy your good karma. So learn to use your bad karma as an inspiration to be better, but also learn to enjoy your good karma. And I think a lot of people I know, we have this thing in DCI, you're supposed to do coffee meditation at the end of the day. And a lot of people have trouble with it. A lot of people have serious trouble to enjoy their good deeds at the end of the day. And it's a Buddhist practice that at the end of the day, as you fall asleep, you're supposed to be thinking about the good things you've done today. Okay. And then if you want to think about problems, do it in the morning. I always like to say, do it in the sunlight. Okay. They get smaller. Okay. So when you have problems, when you have troubles, the worst thing is to think about it before you go to bed. So get in the habit now, before the problems come. Get in the habit that as you fall off to sleep, you're thinking about the good things you're doing. Okay. So just get in the habit. Did you do bad things? Yes. Did people yell at you? Yes. Do you have financial and other family problems? Yes. So think about those in the morning. Save those for the morning. Okay. Save your problems for the morning. Thinking about your problems when you're tired at the end of the day is a disaster. It's really stupid. It proves you should have problems. Okay. So don't let them have the end of the day. The end of the day, when's the end of the day? It's when you put your head on the pillow. When the head makes contact with the pillow, you have to have this instinctual start thinking about the good things you did today. Okay. And there's a joke in the monastery. If you didn't do anything good today the whole day, well, think about the good things you did yesterday. And then if you didn't do anything good yesterday, well, think about the good things you did last week and or last month or last year or possibly in your last life. You did something good or you wouldn't be here, right? So there's always something to rejoice. There's always something to think about as you're going to sleep. You know, nobody is so evil that they don't have anything good to think about. Because they also say you can think about other people's good deeds. Okay. So that's kind of an insurance policy. If you never do anything nice, you can rejoice in, I don't know, Ale and Tim and other people doing these Lam Rim retreats for us. Okay. And that's legal. So you're not allowed to have a bad night. Okay. If you have a bad night, you can feel guilty about it and stay up. Okay. Okay. You're in the Lam Rim. You're not allowed to think about your problems as you fall off to sleep. Okay. You're not allowed. Do it in the morning. I don't do it when I wake up because I'm still grumpy when I wake up. So I wait till I have toast and coffee and the day looks better. And I think about my problems with coffee and then everything's kind of easier. Okay. So even the next morning, wait till you eat something. Okay. Don't do it when you're hungry. And then the problems are so small by the next morning, half of them you can't remember. Okay. All right. Gombalacho. Nipatawe Gyuani. Sorry. Nipa means part two. And he says, Gyurwa. What's Gyurwa? I have a Gyurwa specialist over there. Yeah, transform. He's been talking about different methods to transform. And now he reached the second one. I think the first one was Chope, how to transform a problem. And he says, Tawa means use your correct view. What does he mean? Let's see. Okay. Tawa Gyuani. Chunan Kushir Tawa Yi, She Soki Shung Dien Shing. Yeah. Chulnang means I'm trying to think of a good example. If you drive here from Tucson, you can see some mirages in the highway, and it looks like there's water in the highway from a distance because of the sunlight. It looks like there's water flooding the highway, and that's called chunam. Okay, here it's called chunam. Chunam, what do you want to call it? Like a mirage. Okay. This is a line that says, Chunam Kushir Tawa means when you see a mirage, it's the four bodies. when you see a mirage, it's the four bodies of a Buddha. Does a Buddha really have 4 bodies and 8 pairs of shoes? No. Okay. It's 4 aspects of one body, and they call it the 4 bodies. What are the 4? For $4. Anybody? Give me one. Emanation body. Yeah, the body they take when they come to Earth. Paradise body that they're really hanging out in up in the heaven. You could say knowledge body or wisdom body, their state of mind, which is omniscience, and then their emptiness body, which means their pen body. Okay, their pen body. What does that mean? Just the fact that their body is not coming from itself. Okay, they have a part of their body which is not coming from itself. Okay, and that's their emptiness body. And that body you already have. And when people say you're already a Buddha or you have a Buddha inside of you, it's correct. It's true. Because you are not coming from your seat. Okay, already. However dumb or bald you are, that's not coming from your seats. Okay, so you already have 25% of the Buddhist body. Okay, not bad. When did you get it? Never. It's been there forever. You've always had that. Okay? You, all living beings, have the potential to be a Buddha, and it cannot be taken from you. Luckily, okay. No matter how bad you are, how much you ruin your life, you still have a Buddha body, and that's what they call Tathagata Garbha. Say Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata means Buddha, and Garbha means the womb of a Buddha. So even boys have a womb. Okay, and it's out of that womb will come your Buddhahood. Okay? All boys also have a womb. Okay, all right. Tunang Krishatawayi. So he says, now we're trying to transform how we see the world, the emptiness of the world. Okay, before it was kind of attitude training, right? Oh, be happy when things go wrong. Be sad when things go right. Now he says, let's talk about emptiness. How can you transform things with emptiness? Dini ngarabe lukiyembe. Ngarabe luk means this was a system from days gone by. Okay, the second way of transforming your life with emptiness rather than attitude adjustment, right? So now he's not talking about trying to talk yourself into being happy that you're having problems. Now he's talking about the emptiness side of it. Okay, he says ngarabe luk. He says this was the custom in ancient times, and we don't have this custom nowadays. It's a little bit uncomfortable for modern people. Okay. Midete. And he says, now you're getting into kind of philosophy. Okay. Before it was just attitude adjustment. Now you're looking at the emptiness of your problem. Okay. Instead of thinking that maybe a problem is an opportunity, now you're supposed to look at the emptiness of your problems. And he says, that's harder. That's more difficult. Okay. Here we go. You ready? We still got some time. 6 minutes. I always love to use 6 minutes. Okay. Tengo la tena. Tambo kane makepa chuka song. Where did your problems come from in the first place? Let's look at the emptiness of your problems rather than trying to turn a problem into an opportunity. Let's look at the emptiness of your problems. Okay. Kangne kepa. Where did it start from? And the answer is it never started. Okay. I'll say it again. Before we were talking about trying to use problems as an opportunity. And then now he says, where did it start from? And then you have to answer yourself and say, it never started. The perception that a problem has begun is already a mistake. The feeling that a problem has started is already a delusion. So forget trying to turn a problem into an opportunity. No problem ever started in the first place. The practice of turning a problem into an opportunity is itself based on a delusion that the problem started. If you want to go deeper, okay, I'll say it again. Turning a problem into an opportunity is already a delusion. Turning a problem that happened to you into an opportunity is already a delusion, okay? There's a deeper level of solving the problem here because it never happened, okay? There's a deeper level of dealing with your problems, which is to recognize that they never started in the first place. So if you're kind of lower level Lamrim person, okay, talk yourself into the Daniel's credit card thing. Hey, every time you're happy, you're just burning up good karma. It's more efficient to be unhappy. Okay. Your patience is building up new good karma. That's wise karmic credit card management. Now he says, by the way, there's no credit card either. The whole thing is a delusion. And we got to talk about it. And it's a great segue to Guadalajara. Okay, I cannot teach this to you in 4 minutes, but I can put the question in your mind and you can carry it to Guadalajara. If you can't come to Guadalajara and you're a total loser, if you have some problem that you can't come, then take it online because we're about to dip into the emptiness of your problems. And it's much deeper and it's a much more powerful solution to your problems. It's the ultimate solution to your problem. This whole thing of trying to trick yourself and say, oh, I'm so lucky I'm having a bad day. I'm burning off a lot of karma. It's kind of frustrating, right? Wouldn't it be better not to have the bad karma in the first place? Please don't teach me to manage my bad karma successfully. Please teach me how to not have bad karma, okay? Well, okay, for that, you got to talk about emptiness. For that, you have to understand emptiness, okay? And here's a, what do you call it? A taste. Here's a preview of Guadalajara. And we're gonna jump into it immediately the first day of Guadalajara and confuse everybody. Saying a problem started in your life is to say there was a time when you didn't have the problem. And then it turned into a time when you did have the problem. And that's called the problem started. I'll say it again. Being clever with using problems in your life as opportunities depends on problems. And a problem happened means there was a time when there was no problem. And then after a while, there was a problem. Okay. And that's called in English, that's called a problem started. In my life, a problem, someone criticized you, someone hurt your feelings, you had a financial problem, it started. And that assumes a line. Starting assumes a line. What's the line between no problem, yes problem? No problem, then there was a problem, okay? There was no problem, and then I had a problem. That assumes there was a line in time, like at, right, Tim, 8:54, 8:49, he lets me go till 8:50. At 8:49, I didn't have a problem. At 8:50, I had a problem that I'm supposed to turn into an opportunity. Okay. But the Nagarjuna says, I don't want to talk about turning problems into opportunities. I want to talk about when did the problem start? And you're like, duh, at 8:49, I didn't have a problem. At 8:49 and a half, I got a phone call. At 8:50, I had a problem. Okay. Nagarjuna, if you want the line, it was 8:49.30. At 8:49 and 30 seconds, I understood the 10th syllable of my wife's conversation to me, and I realized our house was burning down. And if you want to say, when did the problem start? That's when the problem started. And he's saying, well, what part of the 10th syllable did the problem start in? I said, well, it wasn't the first half of the syllable, because she said burr, and then she said down. So it wasn't during the burr, it was during the down that, by the way, it's a true story, that somebody left the stove on and went to Diamond Mountain. It didn't burn down, but it was close. It was a close thing. So when was the problem? It was not in the burr, it was at the down. And then the Gajana said, which part of the down? And you're like, well, it wasn't during the because that was just burr. It must have been down during the down that we had. That's when the problem started. When she finished the N, burn down. That was when the problem started. Oh, and the guys are like, was it the beginning of the N or the end of the N? And you're like, just shut up. Quit asking me dumb things. And he says, it's not a dumb thing to ask you, did you have a problem at the beginning of the N at the burn down? Or was it after the N at the burn down? And you're like, what does it matter? Who cares? And he says, don't you get it? You're making the N. There is no N in burn down. Okay, you're making the N because there's no start of the N and there's no end of the N. You can't point to the start of the N and you can't point to the end of the N. You can get as close to the breath at the end of burn down the house, okay? Then you took a breath between down and house, right? When did the breath start? After the end. What part of after the end? At the final end of the end. There is no final end to the end. You didn't hear burn down. It's not possible. It's a delusion. She never said house burned down. Okay? The whole thing's a delusion. Okay? She never said burned down. All your problems are delusions. From the beginning, forget long-range management of your problems. Try to understand they were never there in the first place to practice Lam Rim with. Got it? If you don't, come to Guadalajara. Okay, see you later. Tim. Here comes another problem.
So I guess the retreat never starts. And it never ends. And we're gonna delusionally end this event. There's so many people that really make this possible. A lot of you here see the staff running around. You see the work study. You see the tech table. You see Venerable Jigme. You see actually, we don't see Andriana very much because they're all in the background, and that's how you should serve. It just happens, right? All of a sudden, the magic happens, and you're like, oh, this was a great event. Well, what created that great event? Well, besides your seeds, there's so many people really involved, and there's a lot of people that you don't actually see. You do see some people here on occasion, right? But there's so many people that we have making this possible who are not here, who are online, who are part of ACI, our staff, and our amazing team of volunteers. So can we play the video recognizing all of those people? No, Jen, I'm sorry, it's going to be online. So can you put that up? Team Zero is our translator that treat. They called it that. It wasn't right. As you can see, there's so much that happens in ACI that people don't see, and seeing the 9 languages that we're translating into and the accessibility that we have around the world, we're just really getting started. We have a teacher training coming up in June, I believe, which they're twisting my arm for before I go into retreat. And within the next couple of years, we're expecting to have over 100 certified teachers. And then we're gonna have a huge explosion of students, right? And then that team is just gonna get larger. And the cool thing that's happened in ACI is that the team is relatively almost 100% independent now. They're running everything. If many of you remember the Long Run retreat several years ago, it was like we would just cobble together a group of people who showed up, and then we're like, let's do it. The amazing amount of time and effort that goes into this, I'm very, very proud of that team. and they have a new job. I'm going away just for a month. And they're going to be planning the event in Kyoto. Good luck. We'll have a meeting tomorrow or Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. And then we'll, they're on their own now, which is really, really beautiful. So I have a couple more thank yous. I would like to thank our retreat producer, Alejandra Hasso.
Yay.
Camera. I don't know if you guys know, but 6 years ago, Alejandra was a work study. She was a volunteer here at Diamond Mountain camping. And camping here is glorious. The wind blows, the fire blazes,
Things within the skull.
No. And she has grown from there, and now she is producing the entire event. And Ale, we're grateful to have you. Please stay. Please continue to do all this hard work. It's amazing to see, and it's an inspiration for all of you volunteers out there. Maybe the Tonglen study grants. We have so many grants that came in. We can't afford all the people. Get it? We can't give jobs to people without money, but we have so many people who are interested in helping. There's tons of volunteers already. If you would like to help ACI, if you'd like to get involved in any way, this is one of her specialities. This is the team's speciality. They're so good at recruiting and giving karmic opportunities to people. That's what we sit in our staff meetings doing. How do we give people opportunities to serve? And the whole team, the whole ACI team, that's what they're inspired to do. Thank you, Ale, for being here with us.
I'd like to say that Ale proves that you can also have a family. She's raising a young son, Hakeem. He's 2.5. And she's doing that on top of everything else. So it is theoretically possible.
Thank you, Ale. It was a joy working with you. And when I stopped by Xintian's shop and saw these beautiful Tonglen bracelets, the rose with the diamond, wisdom and compassion, this is you. Thank you so much.
I'd also like to thank this person who's back there. Over the last couple of years, we've gotten to know each other. We've learned about our unique working styles, and I think we've learned how to long rim those working styles and create opportunities from the challenges we do face. And I'm so happy to have her as a partner in this endeavor. We have a lot of cool projects coming up. We have a lot of great ideas. We have a whole new business model we're starting probably next week. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're very excited about it. Very happy to have you here at Diamond Mountain. And I think Diamond Mountain and ACI should work together. We are two separate organizations on a profit loss financial sheet, but we've always really, really worked together. And I think we're building more and more synergies, and seeing what Diamond Mountain has become over the years and the transitions between directors, and each director has taken it to that next level. And Sunam is continuing that legacy. So thank you very much for everything.
I have a cheat sheet. Dear Tim, Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being my complaining partner. Maybe we should change it. Thank you for being my Lamrim mind. Thank you for your ideas and worldview. And thank you for making all of that happen. Thank you so much.
We have one more thank you. Run, run, run. Come on.
Run, run.
Both of you. Come on, come on.
Dear Geshe, we know your teachings are priceless. We want to make you this offering in behalf of all the students here on the temple and online. And ACI, please keep teaching us. And this is a small offering for you.
People keep asking me how to improve my health, and they say the method to keep a teacher healthy is harmony between the students, and when the students get along with each other, or if they don't get along, but they try to get along, then that is the karma to have a healthy teacher. And I have to say that in the last few years, people like Tim and people like Sunam working together, really working together, it's extremely happy for me. I can't describe how happy I am to see the harmony in all of our groups. We have 18, 19 groups, and the harmony is the highest it's ever been in history. And I don't know what happened, but I like it. And it's a very high degree of taking responsibility and working together. And all the directors of the 18 or 19 organizations, they are really helping each other and working together and smiling at each other sincerely. And I have to say that my life is extremely pleasant right now, and the harmony and people working together, it's extremely beautiful. And it means everything to me. So I salute you guys. And thank you for your hard work. Yeah. Okay. That's all.
So we normally, and we've kind of changed, some of the ways that we run some of the programs. I think it'd be really nice if we close with the dedication prayers. Rob, can you lead us? So now, Geshe, so she. So now, Geshe, Jume. Abba, Kunis,
And Lama Sipa, I think the Worldview Network is a great place to take a rebirth, right? So, if you're interested. Thank you.
Right, so we'll see you in Kyoto. Please come. Information coming soon. We'll see you in Guadalajara. Thank you all very much.
Dismiss.
Not yet.
Oh.
Thank you, Geshe, for your teachings. Please stay. We invite you all to our follow-up program. We will have a Q&A session with Venerable Jigme and Rebecca Abinakur. For more information, please check our ACI Study Pro platform. We want to express our gratitude to all the ACI volunteers around the world who are the truly heroes of ACI. Thank you and see you soon.